Jax's revenge domain.
She called me a glorified maintenance supervisor with delusions in front of 224 franchise owners. The microphone was live. The ballroom at the Gaylord Texan was packed with every chair filled. People I'd worked with for 18 years. She said it from the podium like she was reading the weather report. My name is Rod Palmer. I'm 48 years old. I've been building restaurant franchises since I got out of the Army Corps of Engineers in 2006. That Thursday in March changed everything, but let me back up first. Lone Star Steakhouse started with 15 locations when I joined, all in Texas. Earl Whitfield needed someone who understood systems, could enforce standards, and make franchisees trust a brand that didn't have national recognition yet. I was 30 years old, fresh out of the military where I'd spent 8 years building bridges and forward operating bases in Iraq. I drove a used F-150 with 110,000 miles on the odometer and carried a company credit card with a $750 limit. 18 years later, we had 224 locations across the Southwest. Through $28 billion in system-wide revenue. I signed every franchise agreement personally, not as a witness, but as the designated operations director, a title embedded in Article 6 of every contract that gave me authority to modify, renew, or terminate franchise relationships. I was physically present for 218 of those signings. The other 6, I was on a plane getting to the next one. I missed Brady's 12th birthday. Because a kitchen fire in Amarillo shut down a location and I spent 14 hours with contractors rebuilding the entire ventilation system from scratch. I called him at 11 that night. He was already asleep. My ex-wife Carol picked up the phone. She didn't say anything mean about me missing his birthday. That somehow made it worse. Carol and I divorced 6 years ago when Brady was 13. The marriage couldn't survive 200 nights a year in Holiday Inns where the shower pressure never works right and the coffee tastes like it was brewed yesterday. I don't blame her for leaving. The settlement was clean and fair. She didn't want alimony, just stability for Brady. I set up a college fund and started making deposits like it was a mission with a firm deadline. Regular, scheduled, no excuses. Brady's 19 now. He studies automotive technology at Dallas Community College and lives with Carol in Plano. He spends most weekends with me working on projects. Right now we're rebuilding a 1967 Camaro SS in my garage. He wants it running by graduation next spring. We're close to finishing the engine work. Brady handles all the research, prints out forum posts and manual pages from the internet. I do the torque specifications from memory and show him why certain procedures matter. He sits in my passenger seat with his work boots on the dashboard, which I only allow on highways, and we talk about compression ratios and cam timing. In 2020, a hospitality group in Phoenix offered me a regional VP position. $285,000 base salary, company car, travel schedule capped at 30% instead of my usual 70%. I turned it down without much consideration. That same month, Earl Whitfield shook my hand at our 200th location signing ceremony and said, "This empire doesn't exist without you, Rod." He meant every word. I believed him completely. If you've ever spent nearly 2 decades building something only to watch someone who's never worked a day in actual operations try to tear it apart, you'll understand what happened next. Sloan Elise Whitfield, 25 years old, Earl's granddaughter. Wharton MBA from their online executive program, which she completed in 10 months instead of the standard 24. She mentioned this accomplishment in every single meeting. Her restaurant experience consisted of an 8-month consulting project at Bain, where she analyzed legacy operational inefficiencies in the food service sector for clients she'd never name. She had never worked a line shift, never run a dinner rush, never had grease under her fingernails or burns on her forearms from commercial equipment. Earl's son Derek, Sloan's father, had turned down the CEO role 4 years earlier to start a real estate development company in Austin. Earl was 79, tired of daily operational decisions, and he decided to skip over Derek entirely and hand the company to Sloan. No executive search committee, no transition period, no probationary period. Just a board vote of 3-1. 2 of the 4 board members were family, so the math was simple. She arrived at headquarters 5 months before the convention that would change my life. First week on the job, she had facilities management replace my parking placard. The sign that had read Reserved VP Operations became Reserved S. Whitfield, CEO. A white BMW X3 took over the spot within hours. Vanity plates read TX Steak in gold letters. She ordered matcha lattes through DoorDash delivery apps, never touched our own coffee that we served in every location. She wore designer blazers and silk blouses that had never been within 100 feet of a commercial kitchen. She kept one AirPod in during operational briefings, checking messages while franchisees asked questions about equipment costs or supply chain timelines. When someone asked her an unscripted question, she'd check her phone before attempting an answer. 3 months before the convention, she restructured my role without warning or discussion. Senior VP Operations became Senior Advisor Strategic Development. Same salary, different position on the organizational chart, but effectively a demotion. She explained it as leveraging institutional knowledge while reimagining operational paradigms for the next generation. I counted the business buzzwords in that single sentence. 7 total. I watched for 3 months. She replaced our franchise support hotline with an AI chatbot that couldn't answer basic questions about equipment maintenance or health department requirements. She canceled the quarterly check-in calls I'd been running for 14 years and replaced them with a monthly newsletter written by a marketing agency in Brooklyn that misspelled Lone Star as Lonestar in the header of their second issue. I kept my mouth shut during this period. I drove my inspection routes. I checked walk-in refrigerator temperatures and equipment maintenance logs at every location. I drank coffee from paper cups and tested our proprietary spice blend ratios the way I'd been doing since 2006. I said nothing because 18 years in the military and corporate structures taught me you don't speak until you have something worth saying and the authority to say it properly. Then came March, the convention. The Gaylord Texan ballroom with its crystal chandeliers and burgundy carpet, 224 chairs arranged in conference rows, each one representing a franchise owner who'd trusted our brand with their life savings. I sat in the front row where I'd sat for 15 consecutive years. Same seat, same paper coffee cup beside me, same Casio G-Shock on my left wrist. Digital display, shock-resistant, crystal scratched from a loading dock incident in Lubbock back in 2018. Sloan delivered a 25-minute presentation about disrupting traditional steakhouse paradigms through technological integration. Her slides were filled with buzzwords and phrases that meant nothing. She used the term legacy operational thinking 4 times in 10 minutes. Then she looked directly at me, sitting in that front row with my coffee and my scratched watch, and she said those words that would destroy her family's business. We can't revolutionize the guest experience by clinging to glorified maintenance supervisors with delusions of strategic importance. The entire ballroom went silent. You could hear the air conditioning system humming through the ceiling vents. 224 franchise owners, people I'd worked beside for nearly 2 decades, turned to stare at me instead of her. Several of them looked away first, uncomfortable with what they'd just witnessed. I didn't react immediately. I set my coffee cup down on the chair beside me. I tapped my G-Shock face twice with my index finger, a habit I'd developed over the years, and I looked right back at her without saying a word. By 600 that evening, I found myself in a sterile conference room on the 3rd floor of the Lone Star corporate building. Sloan sat across from me with a manila folder. Someone from Human Resources, whose name I never learned, stood by the window with her arms crossed tight against her body, staring down at the carpet like she was trying to disappear into the industrial flooring. Sloan slid the folder across the polished conference table with one finger, the way you'd push a restaurant check towards someone who'd agreed to pay. We're terminating your position effective immediately. Severance terms and non-compete agreements are outlined in the packet. I looked at the folder without touching it. I looked at my watch. 6:03 p.m., digital display glowing green in the fluorescent lighting. Understood. I'll need official termination documentation for my records. She blinked once, like she'd been expecting something different. Maybe raised voices or pleading, maybe tears or threats, something she could have described later as resistance to change in the follow-up email she'd probably already drafted in her head. I picked up the folder, stood from my chair, and walked out of that conference room. Down the hallway past the reception desk where the Lone Star logo was mounted on brushed aluminum. Through the glass doors into the parking lot where the cold March drizzle had started. That thin Texas drizzle that's not quite rain, but soaks through everything anyway. I stood in that parking lot for maybe 30 seconds, feeling the moisture settle on my jacket. The asphalt was dark and wet, reflecting the security lights. Across the street, the Gaylord was still illuminated from the convention. Somewhere inside that building, 224 franchisees were probably collecting their binders and wondering what they'd just witnessed. I got into my F-150. The laminated equipment inspection checklist was still clipped to the passenger sun visor where it had been for years. The Lone Star fleet magnet was still stuck to the back window because I'd always driven my own vehicle to franchise locations rather than use a company car. I pulled out of that parking lot and drove east on Highway 121 toward Lake Louisville. There's a rest stop near the dam where I'd stopped exactly twice in 18 years. Once in 2011 when we nearly lost our biggest Dallas franchisee over a supply chain dispute. Once the week Carol moved out and took Brady with her. I pulled my truck and facing the water and dropped the tailgate. I sat there with my feet hanging off the tailgate, coffee growing cold in my hand, and I didn't think in words or emotions. I thought in systems analysis, load capacity calculations, structural integrity assessments, what components needed immediate inspection, what could wait for scheduled maintenance. What was the proper sequence for diagnostic procedures? I didn't call anyone until I reached the main highway. Then I called exactly one person. Wade Thompson picked up on the second ring. I could hear a Texas Rangers game playing in the background and the soft click of it being muted when he recognized my voice. Rod, you watching this game, or do you have time to talk? I have time to talk. I described the convention scene without editorial commentary. I described the termination meeting without emotion. I described the folder Sloan had slid across the table with one finger. I deliberately didn't mention the specific phrase she'd used at that podium. Wade would hear about it eventually from other sources. Everyone in the industry would. Wade, I need you to pull all the franchise agreements and review them completely. Which specific agreements are we talking about? Every single one. All 224. The line went quiet for exactly 3 seconds. Then Wade's voice came back with the tone he'd used during JAG briefings at Fort Hood 15 years earlier. Don't say another word to anyone about this. Give me 4 days to conduct a complete review. I set my phone face down on the kitchen counter at 7:15 p.m. The house felt unusually quiet. Brady was staying at Carol's that week for midterm exams. The garage door stood open from that morning when I'd been working on the Camaro's transmission before heading to the convention. The engine block sat mounted on its stand under the fluorescent work light, waiting for me to finish installing the new clutch assembly. Brady's printed forum posts were still taped to the air cleaner housing where he'd left them the previous weekend. His handwriting looked exactly like mine used to before 18 years of signing franchise documents had compressed it into something smaller and more efficient. I walked into the garage and picked up a 9/16 box end wrench from the pegboard. I worked on the transmission mounts for 3 straight hours until my hands were black with grease and my lower back told me it was time to stop. I didn't check my phone once during that entire time. I didn't respond to the 8 text messages from franchisees who'd been sitting in that ballroom. I didn't open my Lone Star Company email account for what I suspected might be the final time. For the next 4 days, I followed the same routine. Garage in the morning when the light was good for detailed work. Kitchen for meals consisting of whatever remained in the refrigerator. Gas station 2 miles down the road for coffee because their machine ran hot enough and the syrup to carbonation ratio was nearly identical to our corporate specifications. On the afternoon of the 4th day, exactly 73 hours after I'd made the request, because Wade Thompson had always been precise about timing, my phone rang. Rod, sit down. I'm already sitting. No, you're not. I can hear the socket wrench clicking. I set the 3/8 ratchet on the Camaro's front fender and lowered myself onto the creeper stool Brady had found at a yard sale last summer. Now I'm sitting. Wade didn't rush into his findings. He never did. He laid out his analysis like the former JAG officer he was, building the legal framework methodically before delivering conclusions. He'd spent 4 days reading every single franchise agreement, not skimming or spot checking, but conducting line-by-line reviews of all 224 executed documents, including the 31 that had been renewed within the past 2 years using identical contractual language. Article 6, Section 2.7d appeared in every agreement without exception, unchanged from the original template I'd signed back in 2006 when Lone Star had 15 locations and Earl Whitfield needed my name on legal documents because the brand didn't carry sufficient weight by itself.
Rod, listen to me very carefully.
Wade's voice carried the same flat tone he'd used during military briefings, the tone that meant he was about to fundamentally change the mathematics of everything. This clause doesn't grant you ownership of the franchise locations themselves, but it does vest complete controlling authority over the franchise relationship structure. Lone Star cannot modify, renew, transfer, or terminate a single agreement without your personal signature. I stared at the Camaro while he continued. Brady's handwritten notes were visible everywhere, taped to surfaces and tucked into gaps between components. Here's the part that changes everything. Under your existing contractual authority, you can establish a successor support entity and transfer franchise services to that new entity without triggering breach provisions. The franchisees wouldn't be violating their agreements by following you. They'd be adhering to the contractual structure they originally signed. Wade paused to let that information settle. Brother, you didn't just have a career in franchise management. You have a franchise company that's been sitting dormant for 18 years. They just don't know it yet. I didn't respond immediately. The garage was completely silent except for the electrical hum from the fluorescent work light. Through the open door, I could see my neighbor's porch light flickering the way it had been for 6 months. How long to draft and distribute the transfer notices? Give me 6 days. I want my paralegal handling every envelope personally to ensure proper legal service. Make it clean, Wade. 1 page maximum. It'll be exactly 1 page. That's all the law requires. 9 days after my termination, 224 certified letters were processed through priority mail with delivery confirmation tracking. Wade's paralegal, a methodical woman named Dorothy Ashworth who'd worked for his firm for 12 years, spent an entire Saturday ensuring proper addressing and documentation. Each letter contained identical language. Each cited Article 6, Section 2.7d by complete legal designation. Each explained the transfer of franchise support services from Lone Star Steakhouse to a newly incorporated entity called Palmer Restaurant Partners. Each included my direct cell phone number and new business address. I personally signed every single letter. 2024 signatures using the same blue Bic pen I'd carried for years. The same brand I'd used to execute the original franchise agreements, because Earl Whitfield had never cared about pen quality as long as the signature was legible and legally binding. The same day those franchisee notifications were sent, a separate legal document was hand-delivered to Lone Star's registered corporate agent by a professional process server. That communication was 2 pages long, cited the same contractual section, included photocopies of the original 2006 franchise agreement template, and referenced Wade's comprehensive enforceability analysis that Lone Star had never requested or reviewed. It was raining heavily when the process server completed delivery. Genuine Texas thunderstorm weather with lightning and street flooding. Wade mentioned later that Dorothy had checked weather forecasts multiple times that morning and provided the server with a waterproof document carrier to protect the legal papers. Day 8 after my termination. Lone Star's general counsel, a man named David Preston who'd held his position for 3 years without ever conducting comprehensive reviews of the franchise agreements he was responsible for overseeing, received the primary notice at 9:20 a.m. He read the document once completely. Then he read it again more slowly. Then he immediately contacted the company's outside franchise law firm and remained on hold for 8 minutes before reaching an attorney. By noon that Tuesday, 2 different lawyers were examining Section 2.7d for the first time in their professional careers. By 3 p.m., a paralegal had located the original 2006 franchise agreement template and verified that the contractual language was absolutely identical across all 224 current agreements. By 5 p.m., a junior associate had researched legal precedents for enforceability standards and discovered they were remarkably straightforward. Clear language in executed agreements holds up in court unless formally revoked or superseded in writing. Nobody at Lone Star had ever revoked the clause. Nobody had superseded it with updated language. Nobody had apparently noticed its existence for 18 consecutive years. Day 10. Sloan's corner office on the executive floor. I learned about this meeting months later from my friend Cisco Rodriguez, who runs 3 locations in San Antonio and had been fielding calls from panicked franchisees all week. Sloan received David Preston's legal summary memo that Tuesday morning. She read it at her desk with one AirPod still in her ear, the way she consumed all information. When she finished, she set the document down and said, "So we just revoke the clause immediately?" Preston explained they couldn't simply revoke anything. The language was embedded in executed contracts with third parties, the franchisees themselves. Modifying those terms would require unanimous consent from every franchise owner or written consent from the designated operations director. Who exactly is the operations director? Sloan asked. Preston hesitated before answering. Rod Palmer? According to Cisco, you could have heard a pin drop in that office. Day 12. Preston's assistant delivered a revenue projection report to Sloan's desk. The Q2 forecast contained a column labeled projected variance where every number was bright red, not cautionary orange, but genuine financial hemorrhage red. How many franchisees have responded to Palmer's letters as of this morning? 89 confirmed transfers, out of how many total? 224. By day 26, that number had climbed to 127 franchises formally committed to Palmer Restaurant Partners. Lone Star's communications department issued a public statement describing the situation as routine operational restructuring in alignment with modernization initiatives. The press release used the word reimagining twice in one paragraph. The franchisees who received that statement forwarded copies to me. I didn't respond to any of them. My old company phone received 47 calls over a 72-hour period. I'd already returned the device to Lone Star's corporate office via certified mail with a handwritten note, equipment return per termination effective March 15th. The attempted negotiation conference call happened on a Tuesday afternoon. Wade arranged it through his law office, speakerphone on both ends. Preston participated along with 2 attorneys from Lone Star's outside franchise law firm. The sound quality was poor on their end. I could hear conference room ventilation running constantly in the background. I sat in my kitchen with coffee from the gas station down the road. Extra cream, no sugar. The ice had long since melted. Lone Star's lead outside counsel opened with the argument Wade had predicted she would make. The clause represented drafting error, vestigial language from the company's early development phase, never intended to vest permanent personal authority in any individual employee. Wade allowed her to complete her entire argument without interruption. He waited exactly 5 seconds after she finished speaking. Then he responded in the methodical tone that had made him effective during military legal proceedings. The language appears in 224 executed franchise agreements. It's been present for 18 consecutive years. Your client renewed 31 of those agreements within the past 24 months, each renewal containing identical contractual language, each document bearing Mr. Palmer's signature as the designated operations director. The legal question isn't about original intent. The question concerns execution and enforceability. Brief pause. The contracts were executed as written. I heard Preston take a deep breath on their end of the call. Their counsel attempted one final approach, citing a Sixth Circuit appellate case involving franchise agreements where individual authority clauses had been deemed superseded by subsequent corporate restructuring. Wade had anticipated this argument and reviewed that case 2 days earlier. He explained the distinguishing facts in 4 concise sentences. In that precedent, the parent company had executed formal corporate reorganization with explicit contractual amendment language. Lone Star had implemented no such modifications. Are you telling me that the entire franchise relationship structure is vested in him personally? Preston's voice had dropped nearly half an octave from where it had started. That's exactly what these agreements state. That's what they've stated for 18 years. The call continued for 6 additional minutes. Preston asked about potential timelines for resolution. Wade informed him that the 45-day transition window was already running and 127 franchises had completed their transfers. Preston inquired about possibilities for negotiated settlement. Wade said he would relay any formal proposals to his client, but Palmer Restaurant Partners was fully operational and accepting new franchise service agreements. I never spoke during that conference call. There was nothing I needed to say that the contracts hadn't already articulated for 18 years. 8 weeks after the convention, Earl Whitfield called my personal number. I was in the garage adjusting the Camaro's carburetor when my phone rang on the workbench. I recognized the number immediately and answered. Earl didn't offer apologies. He wasn't built that way. At 79 years old, he'd learned that apologies were language for people who couldn't repair what they'd broken. I made a serious mistake with her, he said. I know you did. We sat in silence for several seconds. The kind of silence that carries the weight of mutual understanding between 2 men who'd built something together and watched someone else destroy it. Good luck with everything, Rod. I ended the call. 2 weeks later, Earl terminated Sloan at 7:15 a.m. on a Friday morning. He made the call from his home study, not from the corporate office. I know the precise time because Preston later told Wade that Sloan's building access was deactivated at 7:19 a.m. Someone in the IT department had been standing by. The white BMW X3 disappeared from the executive parking space by 10 a.m. that same day. By then, the financial mathematics told the complete story. Day 45, 18.7 of 224 franchises had officially transferred to Palmer Restaurant Partners. That represented 83.4% of the entire system. Lone Star's royalty revenue had dropped 76% within 7 weeks of my termination. Month 12, Lone Star Steakhouse filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in federal court. 37 locations remained operational under the original brand. Month 15. Those remaining 37 franchisees filed a $127 million lawsuit against Sloan personally, alleging tortious interference with established contractual relationships. At 16 months after the convention, Palmer Restaurant Partners had achieved $2.4 billion in system-wide sales. The 18.7 locations operated under updated signage and branding but maintained the identical operational support structure I developed over 18 years. My personal earnings from franchise royalties and management fees totaled $94 million. Thursday morning, early spring of the following year. I sat in a corner booth at Palmer Restaurant Partners, location number 1 in Garland, Texas, formerly Lone Star location number 1. The very first franchise agreement I'd signed back in 2006. Light rain was falling outside, leaving the parking lot dark and reflective. Wade Thompson sat across from me, both hands wrapped around his coffee mug. I had coffee from behind our counter. I'd personally calibrated this machine during our rebranding process. Wade slid a quarterly royalty distribution check across the laminated table. I picked it up, examined the amount, then placed it face down between our coffee cups without comment. Through the rain-streaked window, the abandoned Lone Star location was visible across the street. Empty building, vacant parking lot, faded mounting brackets where the illuminated sign had hung for years. Wade wrapped both hands around his mug again and asked Brady, "Get that Camaro running yet?" I glanced at my G-Shock. Same watch I'd purchased at the Fort Hood Post Exchange in 2004 for $89. Same watch I'd worn to every franchise signing, every operational inspection, every convention for 18 years. The crystal still bore that diagonal scratch from the loading dock incident in Lubbock. Almost finished, should be ready for his graduation. You don't have to understand 18 years of work to respect what it built. They called it operations management, but what I actually managed was trust. 224 relationships, one firm handshake at a time. The strange thing about trust is this: you can fire the person who built it, but you can't keep what they created after they're gone. If you've ever spent decades building something only to watch someone who never earned their position try to tear it down, you understand exactly what happened here. Some people get their authority from titles and family connections. Others earn it through competence, consistency, and keeping their word year after year. When those two approaches collide, competence wins every single time. The contracts don't lie, the relationships don't forget, and the people who actually do the work know the difference between real leadership and borrowed power. That's not revenge. That's just how systems work when you understand them better than the people trying to control them.